Welcome to Tanya Today. Rabbi Ronnie Fine coming to you from Chabad Zichron Kadeshim in Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. We say hello to many people. TJ, all the way from Australia. Good evening. Andrew in New Jersey. Welcome aboard. Anna is with us in Budapest. Good afternoon. Eugenia in Calgary. Good morning. John is with us in North Carolina. Simcha, Boker Tov to you in Florida. Benny in Tel Aviv. All right, beautiful. The Holy Land is with us. David in California. Marcel in the Philippines. Shalom. Aska. Shalom to you. Darren also in the Philippines. Ooh, look at that. Two in the Philippines. Robert, shalom to you in Boston. Davida and Liba in New York. Good morning. In Florida, Cindy is with us. And June is in Australia. Good evening. Stan in London, UK. Greetings. Diane in Connecticut. Welcome. Sar is from Malaysia, but in Brooklyn. All right. Leah, good morning to you in Fort Myers, Florida. Tim in Texas. Oh, my sister, look at that, in Israel. We got another, someone from Israel. My sister, welcome. Thank you for joining, Leora. Adenia, good morning. Marjan is in Georgia. Boker Tov. Julie. In Florida, Clem in Australia, welcome. Lisa, good morning. Yan in Mexico, Boker Tov. Ilana in Palm Beach, West Palm Beach, that is. Good morning. Katie in Texas is with us. Who else? Greg and Paula in California, bright and early. It's probably not even bright there yet. Fran and shalom to you in New Jersey. Brad in Maryland. Where else? Dana in Richmond, Virginia. Another 3 people in the Philippines that are watching. My gosh. That's amazing. Bruce, hello. Estella in North Carolina, welcome. We have on Clubhouse, Vilma, Batya, Marcy, Boss, Michelle, Moshe, Tim, Merle, Adam, Stan. On Instagram, Akoy in Peru, Yenta de la Benta. We have Marlene. Beautiful. Okay. The second essay in Kuntras Achrein quotes from the Eitz Chaim, which is teachings from the Arizal, what we call the modern day father of Kabbalah, who lived in the 1500s. That's modern for us. And he writes and says there can be no turning of face to face except through the mitzvahs that require action. So let's understand. What do we mean about face to face? What's face to face over here? So it's referring to the male and female parts of the divine. The male is called Zoh, Zeir Ampin, small faces, the 6 divine emotions, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and the feminine is Malchus, royalty. And a union between the two, face to face, is what we're talking about over here. So, before Adam and Eve were created, that they could do mitzvahs, that there should be an infusion of light into the world, divine light, it could not come about face to face. It was back to back. the union between Zoh and Malchus. Why? Because the union of face-to-face is the innermost from both the male and female of the divine, that then could have what we call a Yanika, how do you say Yanika? It could give life to extraneous places, to negative forces. This is all before in the process of creation, before there is a creation of, again, Adam and Eve, Adam and Chava. So there can be extraneous forces of klipa that would get from this union, if it was face-to-face, Zoh and Malchus. Again, the male and female parts of the divine. Hence, there wasn't a union that was face-to-face, but back-to-back. Only once Adam and Chava, they're created and perform mitzvahs through the act of doing physical mitzvahs, can there now be a union face-to-face. In other words, divinity cannot be revealed in this world in order that there should be no divergence of the divine light into klipa, into negative forces. The only way it will happen now is when the mitzvahs are performed in their details in an actual physical deed. That's the concept, right? Mm-hmm. So why is it that the mitzvahs need to be done in physical action? Why isn't speech or thought enough? That's the issue here. That's the question. Again, the mitzvahs have to be done in a physical manner in order that there should not be a yanika, a divergence of the divine energy that is created through the union of Zoh and Malchus to klipa. So you have to do mitzvahs in the physical and not in spirit, not in thought or speech. So, to understand this. So, the first point that we need to appreciate is that the only way there can be a union in the spiritual realm is with through down here, us causing it. We have to cause it. In other words, a union, divine union, again, male and female, Zoh and Malchus, which is called Zoh and Malchus, okay? For that to happen, it can only be because we do something down here that affects up there. That's called Mayim Nukfim, the feminine waters. Feminine meaning we are the recipient. We cause in order that feminine is from below up, male is from up down, right? So the feminine waters, meaning the down up way of bringing is necessary in order to elicit the up down from the spiritual to the physical. So it has to come from this world that we create the supernal union. So that is the method. Since God created Adam and Eve, there's human engagement. The human engagement is in order to bring a divine engagement in this world. That can only happen from us eliciting it down here. So the good deeds, the mitzvahs that we do, are described as like trimming and hacking off the thistles that attach to the negative side, which is the actions that we do in the mitzvah that hacks away at the thistles, right? So, for example, when you water a field, right, your intent is only to water those things that you want to grow, like the vegetation in the field. But every field of vegetation also has thistles, has thorns. And when you're watering, the thistles and the thorns also get. So the same thing is, when we're eliciting the feminine waters from below to bring the waters from above, to shower us down here with divine light through that divine union of Zon Malchus, there is a possibility of that divine union to coming into places like the thistles and the thorns. It's going to water. And we need to divert it. We need to prune the thistles and the thorns. This is the power of the act of the mitzvah. Because the act of the mitzvah is, where do we want to bring that divine light? Is into the world of Asiya, the world of action. So in the world of Asiya, the world of action, we need to take action in order that the pruning of effect, of elevating the element of the good that is concealed in this world. Because in every thing in this world is a creation of God, so there's an element of good there. But it needs to be revealed. When we take action and we do the deed of the mitzvah, then we are hacking away at the thistles and allowing the good element of the mitzvah, the holiness that's there, that spark that's there, is to ascend to Atzilus, to holiness, a place where there is already refinement there. Our world, there is a refinement. So through the deed of the mitzvah, we hack away at the thistles, at the unwanted elements in the act. Because think about it, the actions we do can be actions that will be bringing more, thistles and thorns into this world, more negativity. Or the action that we can do can cut away from it. So the act of the mitzvah is hacking away at that negativity, allowing the good that's there to emerge, and ultimately make it possible to be elevated, and by extracting the good that's there to its source. And that's what causes, in its source, the union. And from that union, right, well, it's through that union, bringing now a divine light into this physical world. Now, it does say that Adam effected rectification, right? That's what we're talking about, a rectification in this world of the thistles and the thorns, through prayer. So we spoke now about mitzvahs needing action. So the Alter Rebbe explains that prayer is only prayer, and hence rectification, when you utter the prayer, when you verbalize the prayer. The movements of one's lips is deemed as an action. And not only is it an action, but think of what the action is doing. the action is engaging your vital soul, animal soul, that's giving power to your lips to move. Right? When you're thinking, well, it's not the vital soul that's giving the power, because that's not physical. The physical reality of our being, the physical body, and the limbs of our body are getting vitality from the animal soul, from the vital soul, which is klipa's noiga, which is a klipa. So now, that a person is saying prayers with the vitality that the animal soul is giving to the lips that are moving, means that there is hacking away at those thistles that we spoke about, that negative force, and allowing it to ascend to the divine. With this now we can understand why thought, as we spoke in the first essay yesterday, accomplishes nothing. Right? As we explained yesterday when we said nothing, or we didn't say, the Zohar said nothing, right? What it means by nothing, it means it doesn't create a union. Because it's only the physical actions that we do here of mitzvahs that create or elicit the union, right? Rise up and are elevated to elicit the union. Again, we're in a world called a asiya, a world of action. And therefore, being that we live in this world, we need the action of a mitzvah, the deed of the good deed, in order to have it elevated, that it hacks away the thorns and thistles that should not hold it back, the klipa that covers over, and elicit a divine union above. Now, it does say in the Eitz Chaim, who we quoted initially over here, right? It does say that just as there's a mode of verbalizing prayer, there's also a mode of prayer with kavanah, with intent, by means of meditating, that attains infinite heights, as one gazes upon the glory of the King. In other words, there are some people who can make an impact in this world through their unarticulated intentions alone. But as the Alter Rebbe says, these are very lofty souls. These are lofty souls that have that capability, that they can gaze without articulation into and meditate upon the glory of the divine, and in that make an impact upon my life and your life, upon this world. However, that is the select few that can do it. The majority of us can only accomplish the elevation through a mitzvah of action that involves an actual deed or speech, as we said in prayer, or like in Torah study. And in this manner, we're able to bring about a union face to face between Zoh and Malchus. That is what we say, for those who have the blue siddur, before davening, or before we start Baruch Shamar on page 30, that we say L'Shem Yichud Kudshu Brichu Shchinte, that for the unity of Kudshu Brichu, the Holy One, blessed be He, which is Zoh, reference to Zoh, male component of the divine, Shchinte, and Shechina, which the Shechina is Malchus, the feminine aspect. that we are now in our prayers and in everything that we do throughout the day that are our mitzvahs, that we create this union and draw unity, or divinity rather, through that unity into this world. All right, powerful idea that let's unpack. We'll then have some good discussion on this. The metaphors, analogies are profound, are amazing, and that we see how they describe, in the spiritual realm, the earthly realm, and how ultimately, we need to reflect what's on the spiritual realm down here. So just like in human relations, male and female is a union. That's it. Nothing else. And the idea of up, down, up in a union is something of a spiritual nature. And that a union, think about it, I just going off on an idea over here, that in the world, relations are either like an unholy desire, or at best, a necessary evil. But this is why there's such an obsession, because of the negativity that's involved in it, and trying to undo it in unhealthy ways, rather than recognizing the divinity of it. That's a divine thing that needs to be reflected down here in our union in a divine way. This would definitely change the world, change relationships, marriages, and understanding our roles. That's just interesting, not the point over here, but or a byproduct of it. But the main point, of course, is very simple, that mitzvahs need to be done in active, action-oriented deed, as opposed to the thought. Now, very lofty people, they can be in a meditative state, gaze on the glory of the divine, and make an effect on this world. And that's what a Rebbe is, that's what tzaddikim do. But we got to stick to the action-oriented mitzvahs. So, very important that we, everybody feels and wants to feel a connection to the divine. And what we need to know is, in order to elicit the divine, it's up to me. And it's up to me to create new life in this world. And that's the act of the mitzvah that does it. The power of the mitzvah that brings this new life into this world, to me and everything around me. Just a very powerful idea. That it's up to us to change the world, to change myself. And the vehicle for that is the mitzvah. Some of the powerful ideas over here. Okay, time for some discussion, questions, thoughts. I see some questions here on Facebook. Let me get to them before I lose the feed. Remember, 2 question marks beforehand. A reminder, tonight is starting the JLI course, Outsmarting Anti-Semitism. If you haven't yet signed up, I would suggest. It'd be a great idea. Yeah, if you want more information, you can go to jlimontreal.com. jlimontreal.com. On Shabbos, is there more refinement? Asked Davida. Yes, because as we spoke in a previous letter, there is the Malchus, the feminine aspect of royalty, is elevated. The world is elevated, and therefore there's a greater refinement in the world, absolutely. Why is the Amida spoken in more hushed tone? So you still need to verbalize the Amida, the Shemona Esrei, what we call a silent prayer, but it shouldn't be silent. It should be verbalized that you hear it. But it's in order to give people, their space, that it's between, you're standing before God. So when you stand before God in the Amida, there's a bittul, there's an awareness that, there's a sense of awe. We try to get there at least, right? But that's the truth. Standing before God. Till then, you're climbing up the ladder till you come before the King, and you're standing in His presence. Are you going to be very loud? No. Not going to be very loud. You're going to have a bittul, a self-abnegation. So you're going to express yourself, but in a very humble manner. But it still needs to be verbalized. The lips need to move, and there needs to be some breath that comes out. Otherwise, don't fulfill the mitzvah. So Laurie's asking about elaborating on prayer, personal prayer, or daily prayer. So we have the prayers of the Siddur, of course, that were set up by the sages, that are in a language that we can all, a language of the soul that all of us can relate to. And the idea of prayer is the idea of connection. That's the basic idea. Some people did not get notification from Facebook of the class. I see several people mention that. I don't know what to say about that, or what to do about it. Susan, aren't we always to meditate on the glory of the divine? Yes, but we don't kind of create. We don't create a union through that, because we're not on that. We're not capable of doing that. All right. Anybody on Clubhouse or Instagram has a question? Let me see. I don't see on Instagram. No. No one on Instagram. Anybody in Clubhouse? I see we're quiet today. Meditative. Taking action. John, when Adam affected Tikkun through the prayer, was it on Shabbos, still in Gan Eden, or outside Gan Eden? I'm not certain. Good question. I'm not certain. Is there a difference in the volume of our verbalization or as long as it's just spoken out loud? Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter the volume of it. Doesn't matter the volume. Okay. All right. I guess reminder of Rambam today at 1 o'clock. And tonight, again, 7:30 is going to be the JLI course, Outsmarting Anti-Semitism. If you want more information, go to jlimontreal.com. You can sign up there or find out more information. And I think that's it. All right. All right, folks. God bless you all. Wishing you a wonderful day. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad.Chabad in Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have a great day. Be well.